since I'm sitting here and I've just been doing some letter work, I'm going to read my book from here, just to be different. So now I can see you, and you can see me, and you can see the book. All right, this is one of my favorite books. It's called Wilfred, Gordan, McDonald, Partridge. Wilfred, Gordan, McDonald, Partridge. And it has one of my favorite illustrators who drew the pictures. And her name is Julie Vivas. All right. Wilfred, Gordan, McDonald, Partridge. There he is. He has red hair. And it's by Mem Fox, who's one of my favorite book writers. So, look. Wilfred, Gordan, McDonald, Partridge lives next door to an old people's home. And these are all the chairs of all the old people. The old people's home. There was once a small boy called Wilfred, Gordan, McDonald, Partridge. And what's more, he wasn't very old either. There he is. How old do you think he is? I don't think he's very old either. His house was next door to an old people's home, and he knew all the people who lived there. So there's the fence. There's his house and the fence and the old people's home. This book needs tape too. All of my books need tape. He liked Mrs. Jordan, who played the organ. He listened to Mr. Hosking, who told him scary stories. So there's Mrs. Jordan, who plays the organ, and Mr. Hosking, who tells him scary stories. He played with Mr. Tippett, who was crazy about cricket. Cricket is a ball game that you play in Australia, which is where this book is told. He ran errands for Miss Mitchell, who walked with a wooden stick. And he admired Mr. Drysdale, who had a voice like a giant. So there's Mr. Tippett and Miss Mitchell and Mr. Drysdale. They all lived together in the old people's home. But his favorite person, by far, was Miss Nancy Allison Delacourt Cooper, because she had 4 names just as he did. He called her Miss Nancy, and he told her all his secrets. So if something was very important, he was going to go and tell her. She got a sweet face. There's her chair, and there is Wilfred. One day, Wilfred Gordan heard his mother and father talking about Miss Nancy. "Poor old thing," said his mother. "Why is she a poor old thing?" said Wilfred Gordan. "Because she's lost her memory," said his father. "It isn't surprising," said his mother. "After all, she is 96, so she is almost 100 years old. My mother is only 92. "What's a memory?" asked Wilfred Gordan. He was always asking questions. "It is something you remember," said his father. So here's his family. It is something you remember. But Wilfred Gordan wanted to know more, so he called on Mrs. Jordan, who played the organ. "What's a memory?" he asked. "Something warm, my child. Something warm." He called on Mr. Hosking, who told him scary stories. "What's a memory?" he asked. "Something from long ago, my lad. Something from long ago." Here's Mr. Hosking. Something from long ago. He called on Mr. Tippett, who was crazy about cricket. "What's a memory?" he asked. "Something that makes you cry, my boy. Something that makes you cry." There's Mr. Tippet. He called on Miss Mitchell, who walked with a wooden stick. "What's a memory?" he asked. "Something that makes you laugh, my darling. Something that makes you laugh." Some memories make you laugh, don't they? He called on Mr. Drysdale, who had a voice like a giant. "What's a memory?" he asked. "Something as precious as gold, young man. Something as precious as gold." Look how big Mr. Drysdale is. So Wilfred Gordan went home again to look for memories for Miss Nancy because she had lost her own. So look how he goes home. He goes through a hole in the fence. He looked for the shoebox of shells he had found long ago last summer, and he put them gently in a basket. He found the puppet on strings, which always made everyone laugh, and he put that in the basket too. The puppet that made everyone laugh. He remembered with sadness the medal which his grandfather had given him, and he placed it gently next to the shells. So he's sad when he remembers his grandfather. Maybe his grandfather has died. There's the medal. Next, he found his football, which was as precious as gold. And last of all, on his way to Miss Nancy's, he went into the hen house and took a fresh, warm egg from under the hen. So there's the egg, and there's the hen. Maybe she's saying, "What are you doing with my egg?" So they're all in the basket. He's going back through the fence. Then Wilfred Gordan called on Miss Nancy and gave her each thing one by one. There he is, giving her the basket. "What a dear strange child to bring me all these wonderful things," thought Miss Nancy, and she started to remember. There she is, holding on to the things, starting to remember. She held the warm egg and told Wilfred Gordan about the tiny speckled blue eggs that she had found in a bird's nest in her aunt's garden. She put the shell to her ear and remembered going to the beach by tram long ago and how hot it had felt on her feet. Look, there's when she was a little girl and she went to the beach and the sand was so hot on her feet. She touched the medal and talked sadly of her big brother that she had loved, who had gone to the war and never returned. So there they are saying goodbye to the brother who's going to war. She smiled at the puppet on strings and remembered the one she had shown her sister and how she had laughed with a mouth full of porridge. There's her sister, her mouth full of porridge, and the funny puppet. She bounced the football to Wilfred Gordan, and she remembered the day she had met him and all the secrets they had told. And the two of them smiled and smiled because Miss Nancy's memory had been found again by a small boy who wasn't very old either. So there's Wilfred Gordan and his football, and there's Miss Nancy Delacourt Cooper. And she found her memory. Wilfred Gordan helped her find her memory. Isn't that a good book? All right, I'll see you next time.